Hello, I'm Miriam Duignan from womenpriest.org in London, and I'm very happy to be speaking to you today on this special occasion. The first Women's Ordination Conference event I attended was back in 2011 in Rome. It was a memorable day because I ended up getting arrested, but it didn't put me off, and 10 years later we're still campaigning together as member groups of Women's Ordination Worldwide. When I look back at the events that we go to together, what strikes me most is the incredible police presence that follows us wherever we go. Some of it can be quite scary, and some of it is really very silly. I'm thinking specifically about the snipers on the roof outside the cathedral in Washington, D.C. who were pointing right at our group. And then there was the anti-terrorism unit of the Rome police that was sent to protect the Vatican from us. The centerpiece of our vigil that day was a pink cardboard phone booth with messages written all over it. All of this just tells me that the Catholic authorities are very worried about people seeing our message, and so they should be, because wherever we go we are inundated with support, including from so many priests who come up to us and want to talk. And you never know who's going to see these signs. I myself joined this movement because I saw a pink poster on the side of the bus in Westminster, circling the cathedral ahead of the papal visit in London. It said, "Pope Benedict, ordain women now." I loved the message, and I was so happy to discover that there's this global movement of people who are fighting for justice and trying to expose the hidden history of women in the early church. People often ask, why do you continue campaigning for the ordination of women in a church that is so corrupt and a priesthood that is so tainted? But I tell myself that people said the same thing to women who are campaigning for the vote and campaigning to be allowed into the legal profession. And we have to guard against this push to put women on a pedestal and claim that we are too good for a corrupt institution, because it will not get fixed if 50% of the members abstain from participation in it. I think our latest challenge now is to counter the narrative that women's ordination is an aggressive and disloyal aspiration. It's really the latest variation upon a theme coming out of the Vatican, who are desperate to keep women in their place, which of course we know is subordinate to men. And the latest expression of this narrative came from Pope Francis, who recently said, women do not need to be priests to lead in this church. And he says he's appointed a few women to senior roles inside the Vatican, and women can already be the heads of Catholic schools and hospitals. But we all know that those women who have a semblance of influence and authority still must be supervised by ordained men. And Pope Francis seems to think that his work is done. He's sort of sprinkled glitter across the Catholic hierarchy with a few women here and there, and seems to be saying, what more do you women want? Well, the answer is, I'm afraid, we still want women to be priests, because this isn't a personal power grab. Unfortunately, Pope Francis and senior clerics in the Vatican truly believe that all women want is access to status and authority. But really, I think that that's just projecting their own issues. They spend far too much time in the Vatican thinking about who's who in the top jobs, and they need to get out and meet real women. So I think that the focus of our campaign has to be on those women that we all know who are ministering in parishes, who have had a vocation to be priests since they were very young. And are they power hungry because they want to administer the sacraments to their parishioners? Are we disloyal and disruptive because we're pointing out the indignity these women suffer because they always have to call for a man to sanctify the work that they have been doing? Pope Francis has said that women will become clericalized if they join the priesthood as it is now. What he's assuming, of course, is that women will automatically take on the worst possible traits that have been exhibited by some of the male priests. The corruption, the obsession with status, the sense of superiority. But you have to ask, if the priesthood is that bad, why isn't there an embargo on men joining it? What I hear in this sort of conversation is we men have done such a terrible job of the priesthood that you must be terrible if you want to join us. So we can't let the hierarchy off the hook. We can't wait for them to fix themselves. Because right now, in thousands of churches and Catholic hospitals and schools around the world, we are a super spreader of sexism. The message out there in society and in the church is that women must always come under the authority of a man. This hugely influential institution with a very charismatic leader is saying to the world that women need to be restricted and ring-fenced, and they need to let the men get on with the business of running the show. The Catholic Church remains a caste system where women can do all the work that a priest can do, but will never be recognized or respected as an equal partner. So, we still have a lot of work to do, but with the organizing force of Women's Ordination Conference, we can do it. Thank you for everything that you do.